the world's premier motorsport simulator. Who are we? Well, together we are an enthusiastic and inclusive group of racers from across the UK and beyond who like to run social races, practice sessions, leagues, but most importantly, share our experiences and our passion for sim racing. I'm Tim Cox, and tonight I'm joined by Chris Rowland for the second round of Season 2 of the iRacing UK Formula 3 League. Coming to you from the Grand Prix circuit at Hockenheimring. 2 weeks ago, we had the Battle of Watkins Glen, and now it's Effrey's turn at Hockenheim. After we've seen the Porsche Cup and the GT3 League races here already this season. Chris, do you love the Hock, and how hard is it around here?
Good evening. I do love the Hock, and it can be quite hard, although temperatures around the circuit aren't too bad tonight, so we should see some very quick times. I mean, we see Sam Hermer in pole at the moment. It's got a 30.7. It is an open qualifying session though, so for all we know, he's had some cheeky drafting shenanigans going on, and maybe Gavin or Nate in second and third might actually have the pace to challenge him. Those of you who watched the last round saw a very intriguing race, one that was won quite comfortably by Sam Hermer. So we'll have to see if the guys behind him will remember to fuel the car up fully this time, and hopefully have more of a challenge this time.
Definitely. Of course, we've got the usual likes of Gavin Petty, Lee Aberdeen, Josh Wilson, James Cockram near the sharp end of the grid, and qualifying currently underway. There's around about 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes left of that. As you mentioned, Sam Herner topping the timesheets with a 1:30.7. And we've got Gavin Petty, who's just under 4 tenths behind him in second. Nathaniel Simpson in third, Wilson fourth, Aberdeen fifth, Cockram sixth, Milne, White, Foskett in ninth, and then Barnett rounding out the top 10. And Chris, what's absolutely great to see is we've had so many new drivers come through for Season 2 of F3.
Yeah, it's lovely. There's a lot of names I don't recognise because I did drive in the first series, decided I got humiliated too much, so I've stuck myself behind the commentary booth where people can't go faster. Although, having said that, yourself and Nick can certainly commentate with the best of them, so perhaps I need to find somewhere even more behind the scenes. But no, we've got very talented grid here. I mean, we've got very mixed ability, but I think we saw last time, certainly from turn 2 onwards, it's a very safe group of drivers as well. So hopefully here with the slightly leery turn 1, slightly more leery turn 2, and then the absolutely terrifying hairpin, if we can get through those 3 unscathed on lap 1, then I have lots of hopes for a happy race.
Well, Chris, as we've seen, during officials across all the different categories, Hockenheim's obviously being one of the newer circuits to iRacing. It's been featured quite heavily last season, Season 2 and Season 3 of the officials. As we're just currently on board with Chris Foskett here as he's rounding out the end of the lap. We'll just stay on board with, we'll stay with Chris here as he starts a flying lap, and we'll see how it gets on. We'll take you through the circuit with just under 2 minutes left of the session to go. So here we go. It's turn 1, as Chris mentioned, into Nordkurve. There's back hard on the accelerator. Down to Einfahrt Parabolica, where it's hard onto the brakes around about the 100-meter marker. Looking tight, sacrificing your exit just so you can get the car straightened up and head along this long, sweeping left hanger that is Parabolica. It's a sort of like the back straight as you were, but obviously bends to the left very, very gradually as we head down to Spitzer curb. Just looking for that green marker on the left-hand side, a little bit of AstroTurf, hard onto the brakes, and just a bit of understeer there from Foskett. And then hard on the accelerator yet again as we head up to turn 6 here. This right-hander that these F3 cars take flat out, and then just using that last little marker to start the tarmac on the right. That's your braking marker. Foskett, lots of oversteer there. Heading through the right-hander, and now we head out into the stadium section. We've got the drag strip running parallel left on the side there. Just lift a little bit of trail braking maybe through that first corner, and then brake hard at the 50 marker here. Hugging this inside nice and tightly as Chris Foskett has done there. Through this left-right, and it's the double right-hander. Got the pit X entrance just on the right-hand side there that Foskett's just heading to. Obviously, not feeling confident in that lap and not having much time left, and a lot of the drivers in and just looking at it. I think it's only really Stuart Milne that improved last time around. No, he didn't improve. So, ooh, Duncan Roberts deciding that he only wants 3 wheels on his car there, Chris.
Well, it's a weight-saving exercise. I think as we
Clearly.
saw with Chris's lap there, these guys are pushing so hard because it's an open qualifying session. They've got it's very different to what they're used to in iRacing, where it's just you're on your own on the circuit, you've got your 2 laps, you just get them in, you know what kind of fuel to put in, you don't have to think about anything. They've had 15 minutes here with every other car on the circuit. There's 31 drivers here tonight. Jerome Lamy's just made it in time, so he looks like he'll be starting from the back. That could be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. But yeah, you really have to sort of keep pushing and pushing as your fuel tank gets lighter and lighter with those tyres that are fully up to temperature, sort of 4 or 5 laps in. So we'll see which drivers have been able to take advantage of that. We'll be able to put the grid up soon. They're able to finish their last lap. So we are still waiting for a few more drivers.
Yeah, I think it's just Aberdeen. Wilson, his last lap, putting in a 1:31.3, putting himself into 3rd position, obviously 2nd row of the grid. Looks like he's going to be sharing that with Lee Aberdeen. Currently, he's still out on track. I'm not sure whether we can just catch up with him, Chris, and see how he's getting on.
The TV director's throwing a wobbly, so
no worries. We'll see what happens.
I think we might have to wait for the next session to go on in a few seconds.
That's all right. No, he's just headed to the pit lane. Mitchell Webb has, looks like he has as well. It's only Graham and Colin Nicol out on track, but doesn't look like they're going any faster currently. And yeah, so if you're interested, you want, think about, you want to join our community. If you head across to our Facebook page, as you see it on the screen now, facebook.com/iRacing UK. You can also check us out on Twitter and Instagram, where we are team_IRUK. And just having a little look in the comments, Chris. Ketman saying, watch out for the Nickel boys at the back. We should be keeping an eye on them. They're currently shown as being 27th, 28th places. And Vent Nation saying, good afternoon from Cali. I'm guessing that's in the States. Just shows how far-reaching our broadcasts go. Just obviously beyond outside the UK, as we watch Duncan Roberts just go for a bit of a slide there.
Just to rub it in his face, I thought.
Here we go. Right, let's run you through your grid. Sam Hermer is on pole position with a 1:30.7. Joining him on the front row is Gavin Petty. Wilson and Aberdeen take up the 2nd row in 3rd and 4th. Nathaniel Simpson, another newcomer to the championship, 5th with James Cochran. Stuart Milne joins Chris Foskett on row 4, Ben White and Jack Ralph at 9th and 10th. Flock and Rudy Murray round out the 6th row of the grid. Then Barnett and Webb, Roberts and Paddy Bennett in 15th and 16th. Hopkins, Willoughby, Dunn and Randall make out your top 20. Then we've got Epringham and Webb and Lee Barmer and Marcus Hudson there in 23rd and 24th. And then just the last few of the grid, we've got McGarrity, Griffin, Graham Nicol and Colin Nicol, obviously mentioned in the chat there, Ketman, in 27th, 28th. Then we've got Mark Cadmore, 29th. Jerome Lamy, a latecomer, and Dave Hatton as well, who enabled set time, so sees them in 30th and 31st position. Right, we're just waiting for the drivers.
We're just having some technical errors. It doesn't seem to want to show us any drivers. They are gridding up. We're waiting for just a couple of more. Don't seem to be able to get the TV director, which is actually myself. Here we go.
Okay. It's just completely in love with Duncan Roberts at the moment, it seems. Just wants to show him.
Why not?
Why not? There we go. We're getting ready now for the lights to go out. Sam Herman we'll see if he can maintain his pole and get it through turn 1. He says definitely going to be one of the favourites tonight for the race win. We get ready. Here come the lights. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And F3 is go. Great start by Herber there, but also by Wilson. Actually, the whole top 4 getting away really, really well. And Wilson looking to send him around the outside, but Sam Herber, look at him go. Completely clear, already half a second clear at the front. And looks like all the drivers, we've got a spinner in the background there. I'm not too sure who that was. And on the attack, we've got, I think that's James Cockram on the attack there, bringing himself up to 4th place, past Lee Aberdeen. Brilliant start from him there, but yeah, like we were saying, a really clean start from all our drivers, just following from the overboard shot now. But Cockram, he's under attack. He's got Nathaniel Simpson there with that blue nose cone car. But look, there's Chris Foskett looking to join the action. They're going to go free wide into Spetskerb. This could end also nastily. They all give each other a lot of respect and a lot of room there. But Foskett's the one. He's the man on the watch. He's on the left-hand side there with that white nose-coned car, and it looks like he's really profited out of that and taken his efforts. Lara referee up to 3rd place, and James Cockram, in the space of 1 corner, has lost 2 places. And now he's under attack from Ben White. He's really suffering a bit here, is Cockram. We ride on board with Milne here. He's got Ben White ahead of him, and obviously James Cockram ahead of that, and really tight between these guys. Milne, he's on the attack. They come hard into the brakes. They're in the stadium section now. Around about 3/4 of the lap already completed. But look at Stuart Hermes pulling away off into their distance there. And Wilson and Petty behind him don't seem to have an answer for it. But there's James Cockram there in that black and gold F3, just running a little bit squirrely on the exit there. And Chris, what a clean start.
Yeah, we've had a couple of issues, but for the most part, the front guys have got away super clean. And we should just see Derflock on the replay here, just lost it. That collected a few, I think.
Collect it, yeah.
There was also Rudy Moreira has gone off. I wonder if he was collected in the Derflock incident. Yeah, it looks like he was. That's so unfortunate. They do have one fast repair, so hopefully that isn't the end of the race for these guys as we try and go on board with Sam Hermer. Here we go, our race leader.
Look at Gavin Petty. He's closing that gap up. It's a little bit visually bit hard to tell. Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. That is Nathaniel Simpson. He's gone out from, I think he was in 5th place there. That's elevated James Cockram up to 5th. So we ride on board with Alex Hopkins there, and he's stuck in a real tight battle here. He's got Sean Barnett ahead of him in that dark blue car, and then just behind him is Paddy Bennett and Edmund Webb. Webb's just got past Bennett on the entrance there. I don't think we just caught that quite off camera, that was, and wow, just so tight yet again here in F3. Hardly anything to separate all our drivers. You can see from the timing tower on the left. Look at how close all the times are there, and it's not really a place to be overtaken. The main overtaking places are going to be into turn 1s, turn 2, and turn 4. That's if you assume Parabolica is a turn, really, which is that long left-hander. And Hopkins just seems to be struggling on exit a little bit there, and Sean Barnett ahead of him, just able to maintain that gap. You've got Ben White here in the multicoloured blue and pink and black car, and he's under attack from Stuart Milne. He's really close behind him. Milne's going to look to suck up into his slipstream here as they head round Parabolica for the 3rd time now. Just keeping he doesn't seem to have much of an answer for him. Ben White must be running lower downforce there because Milne's not been able to close up at all. To come hard into brakes in Spetskerb. Oh, but look at that. Ben White running incredibly wide, and this is Milne's chance now. But he's got a bit reluctant on getting on the power there and hasn't been able to capitalise. White ahead of him, just able to get the better runoff where he had the steering more open, able to get onto the power a lot quicker.
To a Jerome Lamy crash if it wants to load. Doesn't want to load. We've had a couple of crashes. Edmund Webb also seems to have crashed, but let's just have a look at this lovely iRacing UK livery for a while. And we've lost the cameras again.
There we go. We got a nice view from the fans there for a second. Last time around, Sam Hearn setting fastest lap of the race there, a 1:32.1. Absolutely stunning lap from him there. 2 tenths quicker than the next quickest person, which was Gavin Petty in second. And Wilson just behind him, just another 10th down on that. But as James Cockram there, just setting fastest lap of the race. And apologies for the few technical issues we're having now. And it's just everything starts, just reloads a second. And we'll see if we can try and bring you a bit more of the action.
Yeah, we assumed this was happening as we went between sessions, but as you can see, we're not between sessions. We're 4 laps into the race. We're missing some great action here. Yeah, Duncan Roberts has just passed Jack Ralph, and unfortunately for Duncan, we're not going to be able to see it. We might not be able to look at any replays if this is what's happening.
That's all right. Let's put it back onto live, and we'll just run from there, Chris. I think.
Well, I am on live. This is the trouble.
Okay. Okay.
There we go. Let's reload SDK.
There we go. There we go. We're back in now. Just on board with Stuart Milne. Off camera, Cockram did manage to get past him for overtake, I think. No, he's already ahead of him. So, yeah, I mean, the gap up front between Hermer and Petty still incredibly close. 4 attempts. Wilson's just dropped a little bit back from them in that last of the 3 podium positions. And looks like Sean Barnett and Abs Hopkins further down the grid are having a real battle. And I think Hopkins might, might have come off track a little bit. They're swapping trading places with Mitchell Webb and Paddy Bennett a bit further down there, Chris.
Yeah,
see if
it
we
might be
try
worth
and
going
catch
and have a
him
look at Paddy. He seems to be involved in quite a lot of overtakes so far, although possibly has lost it somewhere because he's actually down 3 places. As Shane Dunn's gone into pit lane, so I think he must have been involved with some of the shenanigans that have just gone on. Looking at who we've lost so far, Jerome Lamy didn't get started by the looks of it. Nathan Willoughby is 2 laps and stopped. And we've also got Sean Barnett, Alex Hopkins and Shane Dunn all in the pit lane this lap. They will be able to get back out if they haven't used their fast repair yet. But let's go and have a look at the closest battle on the track currently, which is Stuart Milne and I believe Ben White, as Milne goes for the overtake and gets it done in a hairpin.
Brilliant move that. It's but look at Milne. He's back on the attack again, and White's going to have to play defence. He's going to have the inside line for this right-hander, but into the main braking area, this left-hander. White's going to have the better line, and there we go. He's able to defend that position, but the momentum's so key through this section of the track, Chris, and just wonder now if he can maintain it into the start of stadium. He should be okay, hopefully. Let's see how this pans out.
Yeah, we've also missed Lee Aberdeen's managed to get past Josh Wilson. I mean, the top 5 are probably the top 5 on pace from what I've been paying attention to in F3 in the last few weeks. Josh Wilson has been rocketing through the field. I mean, actually, if you look at Aberdeen, Wilson and Foskett, I think SDK's been a bit confused. It thinks they've gone 17, 18 and 24 places up the grid. They all qualified really well, so that's certainly not true. But can Lee Aberdeen catch up with Sam and Gavin, who are still neck and neck for the first 2 positions?
I think this is, as long as Graham Nichols just come off track somewhere off camera. We'll see if we can have another go at the replays in a bit and see if we can bring that to you. But yeah, I think we've seen obviously last season from Gavin Petty, if he can maintain on that slipstream. Here we go. They're back again. And is he going to catch a bit of the grass maybe on entry or just lose it? That's maybe a bit too much momentum and nearly carried off the perfect drift there, Chris, but not able to maintain it.
Showing off for the camera time, surely.
There we go. So we've got Ben White and Stuart Milne. These 2 will not let each other go. It's only less than a tenth between these 2. Trading places yet again. Ben White just slightly ahead. Ben White in that pink and with the pink highlights. I know these cars very similar liveries, but was right on board with Ben White now. He's got the pink highlights in his car. That's the easiest way to tell these 2 apart. And yeah, again, it's he's just clinging on to that position, Chris. He's just hanging on to it for dear life at the moment.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder if Duncan Roberts behind is hoping they can keep fighting with each other because he's got a little bit of space. I imagine, as you can see there, pushing really hard going wide into the final corner.
Ooh.
Must be incredibly frustrating knowing that he's so close to being within their draft and just not quite able to get there yet. But if you look at the lap times, he was a full 9/10 of a second quicker than these 2. So he is catching up, and he actually might now be in the draft range. Maybe the extra time that he had to get on the throttle by going so wide has actually helped him out a bit here.
Well, these are 2 battling. It's helping Duncan Roberts no end in that purple and black car. You can see in the background there as Paddy Bennett just running a bit wide there and just joining back on the track. He may have a slowdown for that. That'll be such a shame for Bennett. And Ben White still ahead, Chris. He's got to be running less downforce because he's just... Stuart Milne just doesn't seem to have an answer for him along the back straight, but there's the left-hander, his long left-hander is Parabolica.
It shows you the interesting dilemmas of an open setup series, because with Ben White running that lower downforce, yes, he's slower through the stadium section, but there's not really a good opportunity to overtake there. And as we've seen on previous laps on board with Stuart Milne, he's actually maxing out on the revs well before the braking zone at the hairpin, so he probably could have looked at his gear ratios a bit more. But then it's not always that easy to work it out when you're in practice, because you're not in the slipstream of someone 2/10 in front of you for lap after lap to work out exactly where the trouble is. So he might be a victim here of that open setup, as we can see some smoke in the background.
You can see Milne, he's absolutely all over the back end of the gearbox of Ben White, but through the stadium section, really closing up. But then here we go. So once they're able to open the car up a bit more onto these straights, Ben White just he's just able to pull away, and Milne, unless he can get ahead of him somewhere with a bit of a late lunge, I think that's the only way he's going to be able to get past Ben White, as we ride on board now with Duncan Roberts, who's probably got the best view of the action from sat here from behind.
Yeah, in his beautiful purple car. We're going to see him move into this hairpin here this lap. He does look like he's tucked in behind and not going to do anything. Nope, they're still going in nice and sensibly, although slightly different lines there. It is a tricky corner. There are multiple valid lines you can take.
So just off camera, Edmund Webb and Alfie McGarrity exchanging places, 16th place, going back and forth. Be good if we can have a little look at that battle, Chris. Let's see what's happening. Here we go, Edmund Webb in the old Williams style livery F3 there, all just running it a bit hot, and that just allowing McGarrity to come back at him. So they come around Parabolica, and McGarrity's carrying the momentum here, because he's going to be on the inside. I think this is going to be the move done. Yeah, he's already got past him there, but here comes Edmund Webb. He's fighting back at him. Going to look to send it back up the inside, and he's got the move done. And he's not run wide there, so McGarrity not able to perform the switchback and manoeuvre on him and pull back. And Duncan Roberts, so we're just riding on board with Jack Ralph here, and he's down in 10th place. He's got Nathaniel Simpson behind him in that purple and light blue F3, and these guys currently about 4/10 behind one another. Their closest battle, other than the just in front of them, the White, Milne and Roberts battle.
We might want to keep an eye on this, actually, because now it's 3 of them going into the hairpin. So let's see if there's something going to happen this time. Milne is closer.
Now, what's interesting, Chris, is they've got some back markers coming up to him, and Duncan Roberts just showing his nose there, looking to just follow through. But it looks like that's the move done from Milne. He's managed to get it done under braking, but he's going to have to really keep his foot to the floor, and he's going to struggle here. But that's Ben White just running a bit wide, but Ben White's got the inside line. And Paddy Bennett, can he capitalise? Sorry, Duncan Roberts here, can he capitalise? As Jeff Randall and Lee Balmer just off camera have come off track. We'll see if we can come back to that shortly. Let's just watch this battle now, and Roberts now absolutely all over the back. And all while this is going on, Ben White's able to give himself a bit of breathing space going through the stadium section and pull out a bit of a gap here, Chris.
Yeah, Ben White owes Duncan Roberts a fiver for that move into the hairpin. I mean, Roberts is entitled to do it for sure, but it's just opened that little bit of a gap up here. And if Roberts had got that move into the stadium section, it would have been one of the greatest overtakes I'd ever seen. It's not really an overtaking spot in this car. But as we are, these three are still fighting, and it's for 7th place. You know, it's good, but it's not the podium, and they're still fighting like their lives depend on it.
We've got 7 laps to go. Lee Balmer's clearly had a bit of an incident. I see he's come off track and had a couple of crashes and dropped a fair few places. That's a shame for him, unfortunately. And we come back to our leaders, and look, while all the action behind us being going on, Gavin Petty has just slowly been chipping away at that gap to Sam Hermer in front of them. And I think knowing Gavin Petty, I think he's just going to wait for that last little bit. Chris, we could cut back to the Roberts Milne battle. Looks like they're trading places again.
They don't want to give us any rest time, do they?
No, they don't. It's all about, it seems to be me for those guys in terms of wanting a bit of camera action, and Roberts just running it round the outside of Milne there. And he's going to carry the more momentum, and also he's going to set himself up to be on the inside line but the hard braking zone into the left-hander. There we go. That's Roberts. He is through. He has got Ben White 1.2 seconds up the road. And now Roberts is going to look to close in on him. And meanwhile, back to the front, Sam Herman's managed to pull out a little bit of a gap, a couple of attempts on Petty, but Petty's responded with the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:33. So 31.3, absolutely stunning lap there. And we've got Marcus Hudson here, who's battling hard wheel to wheel with Edmund Webb.
I think it's actually Paddy Bennett. I think Edmund Webb was involved in this.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
it's
Edmund
brought these
Webb's
two
car
back
ahead.
into each other.
I've looked. I thought he was slightly. Hudson was slightly ahead there, and looked across at the timing screen. And yeah, you're right. There's Webb ahead. He's got a blue livery car as well, and yeah, that's Paddy Bennett through up to 14th place, and now he'll be chasing down Edmund Webb. But here we go again, another lap of Milne versus Roberts, and that's Milne. He's got the place back from Roberts.
Roberts was looking at the cutback there, but Milne placed his car perfectly so that Roberts couldn't get on the inside without sacrificing going early. But here we go for a move into the left-hander. Is Roberts going to do it? Milne has braked a lot later, and they're through in the same line they were.
He's managed to maintain the position, and there's been an incident between Mark Cadmore and Sean Bennett, I think, which has meant that Mark Cadmore's had to jump to the pits, unfortunately for him. And here we go, see what happened. Oh, just lost it under braking, and he sat in the middle of the track. And
that was very kind of him, actually, just to make sure he didn't disrupt anyone else's races. Although let's see what happened to Sean Barnett here as well, who's also had an accident. Is it the same corner as well?
I think it is, yeah. I think maybe he just clipped him with a bit of netcode. It's unfortunate
Perhaps.
there.
I think the closest battle on the field right now is Hopkins Dunn Griffin down in 19th,
yeah,
20th.
We haven't featured these guys yet at all on the channel, so it'd be good to see them. Oh, Chris Foskett's had an incident somewhere. He's come off track and he's lost quite a few places by the looks of things. He was running in about 4th place. He's dropped down to 8th, and there we go. Just lost it on the power. He's managed to keep it out of the wall, fortunately, but so much unfortunate from Chris Foskett there. He'll be feeling that one, definitely.
Yeah, he was running really well up the top. There have been some good pace from the top guys today. I mean, Josh Wilson as well. He's keeping up with Lee Aberdeen, who is one of the quickest drivers in our community. He's bossing the Radical League at the moment. And he's no slouch in the F3 either. He gets involved in a lot of lap 1 incidents, but if he keeps it clean, he's usually up in that top few positions, as we're seeing tonight. But Josh Wilson's keeping it honest there in 4th and still within fighting position of a podium, so we could see something interesting there.
It's a shame for Foskett there. He threw his keys in, but maybe just a bit into the pole, but just maybe a bit too hard there. And so he's now under attack. He's got Simpson and Ralph behind it, so Ralph behind him for company. And now Foskett has gone from being out in a little bubble by himself, and now he's got all the work to do. These guys, they should be hoping they'll start trying to trip over each other where they're attacking one another. That's we've got Simpson in the purple and light blue car, and then behind him is Jack Ralph. Just see us coming through the corner now in that dark blue car. There he is, and good result so far from Ralph. He's sort of kept his nose clean, not too many off tracks either, and doing all right for himself there, Chris.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say iRating is the be-all and end-all of a driver's skill, but he is the highest sort of, everyone ahead of him has got a much higher iRating, so he's acquitting himself very well here tonight so far. Of course, I've got plenty of experience doing this. Very easy to lose it at the very end of an F3 race. Those tyres do get worn, the track temperature does rise, and as we've seen on corner 2 on the last few laps, it's so easy to lose this car when you're turning in. So there's still plenty of opportunity to throw a good result away, but so far this is excellent driving from Ralph.
So Dinker77, thank you for the follow, very appreciated. So if you've really enjoying the action tonight, don't forget to give us a follow here on Twitch, or alternatively, if you love us even more, we'd love a subscription. This community's put together completely for free. Just watch Hopkins and Dunn there. Hopkins is locking up into Spets curve there, and see Sam Hermer saying yet again another fastest lap of the race. So yeah, if you this community is running completely for free, and the proceeds from the streams and some of my members' own money have to go in to keep the community completely free, all the practice section, and Hopkins just lost it there, and that's going to cost him a few places. So unlucky. So we're right on board with Nathaniel Simpson. He's got Chris Foskett ahead of him. Obviously, you mentioned that earlier. So he's going to be in line now. Foskett's going to come under attack. It'll be interesting to see who's running the lower downforce. To see a bit of smoke over in the distance there. And can Simpson close the gap? He can feel it. He's closing. Foskett's gone defensive to the inside. Oh, but no, he's got a late move. There's Simpson below. He's outbraked himself. No! And there he goes around, and that's cost it. Chris, he's just a bit too over-ambitious there, and I think just ran out a little bit of talent there.
Yeah, it happens. I've done it. I'm sure most of the drivers on the grid here will have done it at some point.
I think we've all done it, haven't we, some stage, Chris?
I suspect he's not had that much draft all race long, as I think Paddy has possibly just pulled an overtake on Marcus Hudson here, or at least is involved in one right now.
Yeah, Hudson's just got past Paddy Bennett there. That for 14th place, but here comes Bennett back on the attack. He's going to have the inside line, but here goes Hudson running it round the outside, and now he's going to have the inside for the next corner. With all these lefts and rights, it's hard to make sure you've got the inside line for the next corner, but Bennett's he's going to run it round the outside there, entering the stadium section. What a brilliant move from Paddy Bennett. Take your hat off there. It's round the outside. You shouldn't be allowed to overtake there, Chris.
No, I've set it up nicely by saying it's not a good place to overtake earlier in the race, and it's nice to see the iRacing UK livery as well. We've done very well here as a sort of broadcast and driver combo to really show off what we want to for the community.
So, Chris, just having a little look, we've also got Barnett and Lee Griffin as another close battle. I can't believe we've only got 2 laps to go. We've got Lee Aberdeen here. Let's check in what happened. Josh Wilson's behind him, but I can see from a timing tower, he makes it ahead of him. Oh, no! Aberdeen's lost it under braking. And that's gifted Josh Wilson 3rd place and back onto the podium so late in the race. And now Aberdeen, he's under attack from James Cockram. So he's gone from a comfortable 3rd to potentially maybe losing 4th place to James Cockram. Got a couple of ramblings there. Just doesn't want to quite load up there, Chris. There we go. We've got back to the battle for 14th place. Paddy Bennett still just ahead of Marcus Hudson. Only 3 attempts separating these guys as we head on to our final lap. And Hermer still in the lead from Petty. Wilson now elevated to 3rd. Lee Aberdeen 4th. And yeah, James Cochran just behind him in 5th place. But we've got Randall currently on screen now. He's got Alfie McGarrity behind him in that pink liveried car, and hardly anything to separate these 2 guys. Just going to show, you know, what we 15 laps, and hardly anything to separate these guys after all that time, Chris.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good racing throughout the field. I think sometimes people want longer races for these, but sort of half an hour is quite nice. As we see Lee Aberdeen here trying to get revenge on Josh Wilson.
There's a big puff of smoke there. There's someone off track. I didn't quite
sorry,
catch
no, that's James
who that
Cockram.
was.
Cockram's overtaken Aberdeen, so I wonder if Aberdeen's got some damage at some point. That sounded like I'm saying Cockram wouldn't naturally overtake him. It was a good move, and I should apologise to James for that.
Well, it is. I'm sure James Cockram won't mind that one too much, and Sam Hearn is just rounding the last couple of corners. He's on to take victory. He's 3 seconds clear of Gavin Petty. He was no slouch whatsoever. There is a back marker. Hopefully they'll just stay out wide. There we go. Sam Hermer crosses the line. He's going to take the checker flag. Winner of round 2 at the Hockenheimring. But here we go. Back to the battle. Lee Aberdeen. He's got 2 corners left. Can he mount a move on Cockram? I don't think he's going to do it, Chris. I think he's literally going to run out of time as someone's off track there. Just recovering. I'm just having a little look down. So Hermer's 1st, Petty 2nd, Wilson 3rd, Cockram 4th, Aberdeen 5th. And as we head back to Paddy Bennett, it's probably our next closest battle. I think he's going to maintain. Oh, Edmund Webb just running a bit light. And sorry, it's not Edmund Webb. It was Jack Ralph, and Hudson's managed to get that place back, but Paddy Bennett's going to come home in a comfortable 12th place. And it's a car just trying to get over the line there with an incredibly damaged car. And Hudson gets 13th, Jack Ralph 14th. And we've got Barnett, and that's Alfie McGarity, isn't it? Just ahead of him. But these guys, it looks like he's going to have the switchback on him.
Lovely.
Oh, lovely move there from Sean Barnett to nick it in the last corner. Has just managed to do it. Alfie McGarity, unlucky there, sir. Wow. Battling all the way. I think it's Alex Hopkins there, who was the driver, who's just trying to eke and get his car over the line there. As I think we've had everyone come
We're just
over.
waiting
There we
for
go.
Lee Balmer in 22nd.
Hopkins just managed to get that car eventually over the line there, crawled it over with so much damage. Wow.
Oh, a lot going on there, wasn't there?
just a little bit. Where did those 16 laps go? It only seemed like about 5 minutes since the drivers were heading off into turn 1 for the first time.
I think that was trying to say, as a viewer, you want longer races, but these drivers will all be exhausted, I can guarantee you. It is so tiring. Even in a sort of nice, easy downforce car, it's not like your fancy GT3s that require actual weight distribution to drive quickly. No, we've got all the system wings here. You're still tired because it's so easy. Just that tiny touch and your car is destroyed. So they've done very well here to race as cleanly as they have.
It's more the mental tiredness, isn't it, really? Where you just got to concentrate and just be absolutely on point, hitting every single brake marker, every single turn-in point, and then obviously when you accelerate off, ensuring that you're hitting that at the right point so you're not left floundering and the car behind you can potentially overtake you. And, wow, what a race, Chris.
Yeah, and I think also look at how close the top 15 were. The whole grid. We've got so many people on the lead lap here with such a disparate pace. It just shows you how skilled all the drivers are, that they've all managed to do this well.
So let's we've got the official standings up there. Let's take you through them. Sam Herner, race winner by just over 3 seconds to Gavin Petty, who comes home in second. Josh Wilson, being very lucky to get third place after Lee Aberdeen just had that spin down in Spencer curve and gifted him third place at that final slot onto the podium. James Cockram comes in fourth. Lee Aberdeen down to fifth. Ben White, brilliant drive from him, sixth place. Stuart Milne coming in just ahead of Duncan Roberts in the end for 7th and 8th place respectively. Chris Foskett will be disappointed, dropping down to 9th after his earlier incident. Mitchell Webb rounds out your top 10. Then we've got Edmund Webb in 11th, Paddy Bennett in 12th. Marcus Hudson rounds out 13th place, and Jack Ralph, great drive from him, in 14th. Jeff Randall and Sean Dunn are 15th and 16th. Sean Barnett and just nicking that place right at the death in the last corner from Alfie McGarity to get 17th place. And Alfie will feel slightly disappointed by that. Leslie Griffin in 19th. 20th is Alex Hopkins. David Hatton's 23rd. Lee Balmer 22nd. Rudy Murray in 23rd. And Dare Flock in 24th. Graham Nicol in 25th. Epringham didn't see too much of him tonight, just finishing off the lead lap. Disappointed by that one in 26th. Faniel Simpson in 27th. Mark Cadmore 28th. Colin Nicol and Nathan Willoughby in 29th and 30th. And Jerome Ramey, obviously not managed to make the start of the race, comes home in 31st. Well, technically doesn't come home, just that's where he's finished. So let's take a look at how does that affect the championship standings. So Sam Herner out on the 130 points with Gavin Petty just behind him on 124. That winner elevating Josh Wilson up to third place in the championship, 118, with his friend James Cockram right behind him, 114. Lee Aberdeen in fifth, so that's pretty much a repeat of the race order. Ben White, Stuart Milne, Duncan Roberts, Chris Foskett and Mitchell Webb rounding out your top 10. Then we've got Edmund Webb, Patrick Bennett, Marcus Hudson, Jack Ralph, Randall, Dunn on 90 points, Sean Barnett on 88, and Alfie McGarity 86. Lisa Griffin and Alex Hopkins round out your top 20. And then we've got David Hatton down in 21st on 80 points. See if we can move it down slightly. There we go. Magic TV. Lee Balmer is 22nd. Rudy Murray in 23rd. Dave Flock 24th. Graham Nicol 25th. Eppringham 26th. Simpson 27th. Mark Cadmore's 28th. Colin Nicol 64th. Nathan Willoughby, disappointing he's all the way down there in 30th. Jerome Laney in 31st. And we've got Mavs Loucher, Carl Cranswick.
I think these
Ryan
are people that
Ellis,
have
I
signed
think,
up for one of
yeah,
the 2 seasons that haven't raced.
and
I'm
yeah,
surprised I'm not there, actually. That would be quite nice
I
to see
think
my
it would be,
name.
yeah. If you can see, good to see you up there, Chris. And wow, what a race! What
Yeah,
a race! And it just
absolutely flew
shows
by.
how it did, and it just shows how tight it can be within F3, and what great racing we get to see.
Yes, and we'll be back in 2 weeks at the wonderful Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, which is excellent in these cars. We should have some really good racing there.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a great race to see. Obviously, down the Campbell Straight, a brilliant chance to slipstream and overtake drivers, and of course the absolutely iconic Blanchimont and Eau Rouge complex heading up the hill, where these cars are just absolutely magical through, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll be able to stream it here on Twitch and YouTube. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/iRacing UK. We've also got our social media presence on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously the Discord community. Just pop on the Facebook page and talk to an admin, and they can get you an invite if you haven't yet been invited. And obviously give us a follow as well if you haven't, and your Twitch sub if you fancy. No pressure though, you're obviously welcome to watch regardless. But we do need to put these streams on somehow, and every little bit helps and is much appreciated.
Exactly. So I think that's a good time to wrap up. Thank you to obviously yourself, Chris, for putting together the directorship and cameras. Great effort for yourself. And thank you to the guys over at trackcams22.com who allow us to use their camera angles. And I think that's just time for us to say thank you and good night.